Hello, welcome one and all. Hopefully everything is working on my end. Looks like it is. Welcome one and all, welcome to the Astro Pub. Some zero to hero action. Get to the bar, shall we? Welcome everybody. My name is Paul Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the Astro Pub, your space bar at the end of the universe. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We got a good one for you. How y'all doing? All right. Some real quick. All right. Hey, Vaughn. So this is Zero to Hero. This is my Zero to Hero account, which already made a significant amount of money. It's going to have to make more. Because I have at least one more run of Copper and Corundum that I need to go pick up and run. And then back to your regularly scheduled smuggling programs. Almost. We're gonna do Survivor Supply or Die, and then from there. Need. Need to head down and rent myself a cutlass. We'll be good. As I have currently 1 million. Now, to be fair, I did earn enough to purchase myself a 315p off of this. But I don't really have anything that I can go trade with necessarily.
Hey. Hi.
Break. Black. Max is 85. Yeah, let's just do that.
Morning. Or afternoon.
Like 300k. Hey, Ram. Love you too. We'll fundraise for the orphans after this. I'm gonna see if I can't fundraise with the Cutlass Black too. What I need to find is the cheapest source of herbal supplements, and where and the best place to sell it. I think the best place to sell it is still Samson and Sons.
Welcome
but
to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System. Please visit us.
gotta pull it.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been delivered to the... Please visit us again.
All right, so I'm pretty confident in saying that the elevators, while not completely fixed, I'm sure if somebody would crawl out of the woodwork and be like, the elevators killed my family, as always. But I have had almost no problems with the elevators in 402. Like, they're not really the issue anymore. They're within acceptable parameters for now. Now, I do know that the actual, like, ground stations, like the ground elevators can be a problem. I think the cargo elevators are really now the issue. Did you reset my account again? The elevators poisoned our water supply, burned our crops, and delivered a plague onto our houses. That's the real twist of Squadron 42. It wasn't the Van Duel, it was the elevators. All right. Gonna go into a dogleg group. Need to go out to Magnus Gateway. Mikel 3. And then we'll refill there and then go to,
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Ghost 1800 just resubscribed for 55 months. Is it time to start etching bad reviews on clay tablets about the poor quality of some copper?
oh, thank you so much for the 55 months of support there, Ghost. You're very important, Papa, very impressive, Mr. Rainy Pedestrian. This is your fault. There's room drinking night. Shots and cheers and chat, yo. Shots and cheers. And the seer! You can't keep getting away with this. Thank you so much for that 55 months, buddy. Maybe. I really hope that CIG keeps it up. I do want a merchant, a copper merchant in game whose name is Aya Nasir. My papa used to say, never trust an elevator. They don't have windows. But oh, you can always trust an escalator. That would be an amazing Banu name. Aya Nasir, but all one word. Spelled kind of funky. You know. Like E-A N-S-I-R. Aya Nasir. Or E-A-N-S-E-A-R. You know, perfect Banu merchant. Hey, Mopar. God, this place is so far away, but it's already, I mean, Magnus Gateway is super far away. Just have to make sure to double check his contracts. A lot of bad reviews. I think CAG can do a lot of references if they wanted to. I still think, which would be a nice sort of nod to KCD and Star Citizen's shared past, that the collector should have Henry's helmet. No, Henry's sword. I remember the sword from KCD. It should just be on the wall, legally distinct. And just call it the sword of Henry, or the sword of Skalitz. No, Dell, they should have a shop called Commander Shepard's. They added the Crossroads of Crime map to the AC at the latest PTU. I think so. I heard that it was just imported in, but apparently it's in there. Was my audio low? Hold on. Is that better? My mic should be a little bit better. And the map is the entire planet, yeah. Well, I bumped my microphone up a little bit higher. I can imagine it's pretty actually high, because if I boost the audio all the way up, I can hear the audio pretty distinctly. I'll turn this down a little bit more. There we go. Gonna have to find it. Oh, wait. Insufficient fuel, okay. Hey Paul, love your stream and your work. We found out very often if Lyft's shop working, it's desync from the player to the server. Relogging the menu helps. Yeah, well that's still something that CIG needs to deal with. But like I said, as long as it's consistent. As long as it's consistently bad. If it's like, oh yeah, this is the workaround. Even if it's sort of like, oh, well, that sucks. At least it's like, you know. Ha. All right, I gotta actually refill first. Theaters for 2025, the time has come. The year that I actually predicted it wouldn't come, it's coming, which is so insane. I predicted it for 2 years, and it didn't show up. And the year I'm like, nah, it's not coming this year. Is when DJ is just like, shut the fuck up, Paul. I'm gonna make you a liar. God damn it, DJ. Yep. I've always been a stark believer that that Theaters of War is needed for Star Citizen in the long term.
Your vehicle has been moved to our storage facility. Please visit us again. Goodbye.
Yeah. Obviously, it's not this year, but I think a full like strike team working on Arena Commander to the degree that it is fully able to have full multiplayer support and continued multiplayer support throughout next year, I think would be a valuable add to Star Citizen. Because for those of you who don't know, the multiplayer for Squadron 42, and yes, there is multiplayer for Squadron 42. The multiplayer is in fact Arena Commander. Every copy of Squadron 42 came with a copy of Arena Commander. So while Arena Commander is pretty good right now, it needs to be robust enough that people who are interested in playing Star Citizen, who have a copy of Squadron 42 when it launches, will actually be able to pull up Arena Commander and enjoy the multiplayer. Goes pretty well. I'm actually I'm already at 1 million. This is like my 3rd or 4th game playthrough with this one. This isn't mine. This is a rental, but let me check to make sure. Ah, perfect. You added a couple game modes to AC in tonight's patch with 4.1? Yeah. I thought Star Citizen Squadron 42 multiplayer. No. Star Citizen is a completely separate queue, or it's a completely separate SKU from Squadron 42. They separated them a long time ago. And the reason is pretty obvious. At least in my perspective. Okay. Pyro Gateway. There you are. Magnus. We'll dogleg between here and Magnus. And then from here to Pyro. So yeah, so originally Star Citizen and Squadron 42 were sold together, but when Squadron 42 became its own standalone SKU, they swapped out Star Citizen for Arena Commander. It said every single copy of Squadron 42 came with Arena Commander. So as a result, that's still on some of those early copies. So Arena Commander has to be a separate game mode that players can play. And I think the easiest way of dealing with it is just adding Arena Commander to Squadron 42. Though personally, I think the best way of doing it would be for them to have Arena Commander as a separate launch item in the launcher. So you have Squadron 42, Star Citizen, and Arena Commander. Yeah. Squadron 42 is Warcraft, Star Citizen is World of Warcraft. And Arena Commander is just a weird version, a weird cross between World of Warcraft PvP and Warcraft 3 multiplayer modes. They were talking about that horde mode too. Yeah. So Arena Commander needs to be able to be both the major release. Well, and it needs to be both. It needs to both be the scale of Star Citizen. In some ways, this whole entire planet thing map is a good start. So it needs to have that sort of big scale, but also needs to be focused heavily on like sort of PvP, player versus player, or to a degree PvE modes for players to enjoy. I'd also personally like them as different executables because the problem with having them as launchable from in the games means that Squadron 42 would need an online connection because that's the only way you could get access to Arena Commander. Now, I'm sure there is ways you could say that Squadron 42 is offline. And you just have to have an online connection to play Arena Commander. But I think I really want CIG to emphasize you do not need to be connected to the internet to play Squadron 42. Do not fall into any of those traps that so many other people have tried, because that will definitely spoil the experience for a lot of people who are like, I don't want to have the game do all these things for me. You want a third game? We already have a third game. We just need to have it as a different executable. I personally wouldn't have from Locust Stream. My name is Paul Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the Astro Pub, your space bar at the end of the universe. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We got a good one for you. How y'all doing? Do you think they should have cloud-based backup for Squadron 42? Well, since they're planning on releasing Squadron 42 for Steam, I'd hope so. Oh, yeah, I already revealed that earlier. Rumor, take it as rumor, because I don't have any evidence other than the sources that I trust. Oh yeah, you didn't know that? Yes, Squadron 42 is releasing to Steam. That was the information I'd been sitting on for a quarter to wait for CIG to make the announcement, and I announced that at the very end of February. Yeah. They're planning on Squadron 42 to be released on Steam. I think they also said like Epic Store, so it's going to be available like on a bunch of different stores when it releases. And that's when I heard that, that's what made everything click into place for like why CIG is doing everything they're doing this year. They're planning on doing a Steam release, which means that Squadron 42 isn't going to be this sort of plucky little indie game that's launched on its own launcher and has to advertise. No, they're going to Big Boy Town. They're walking up to the to the main market and slapping down their goods and saying, "We're here." They are looking for worldwide distribution very quickly. Yes, you can throw apples at me. Like I said, it's a rumor until it's confirmed. This is something that I heard, and the thing about these is that plans change. So I've heard things in the past about Squadron that ended up not coming to fruition from similar sources, but I've also heard things from that same source that ended up becoming big. So I would assume if you own a copy, you would get a code for Steam. I think that's up to CIG in terms of how they work. Because Squad 42 hasn't been sold since then, for a while, that may also be one of the reasons why they decided to pull it from sale on the website, because that way they don't have to, like, the massive headache of trying to give everyone a Steam key.
Landing gear down. Landing gear up.
Yeah, CIG's choice to, like, knuckle down on release for Star Citizen to improve the quality. Yeah, that makes 100% sense if CIG is trying to put Squadron on Steam, because now suddenly it's like we're gonna get a lot more attention from people who don't know us. And as much as it's like, oh, well, of course everyone knows Star Citizen, it feels like that because of the bubbles we're in. But in reality, almost nobody has heard of Star Citizen. And if they have, it's in passing as a failed project or something like that. Like, they don't really care. Yeah, they know the meme of Star Citizen. I don't think they're gonna make a page for it until they have a full. And you actually need to do this first. Yeah, and not a necessary full release candidate, a full release date. I gotta store this, pull it back out. Full release date might be jumping the gun. Nah, I mean, I think that's a little bit more reasonable than anything else. Because once they have a release date, it's pretty easy to start accepting pre-orders. Because they also want to, like, have a lead in, and so having it on the pre-order store is a pretty, having it ready for pre-order on Steam would be a big boom to their stuff, and it would also make it a lot more permanent. Like, it would be more real to people if CIG said not only is it up for sale again on the website, but it's available for pre-order on Steam. Are we really getting Banu in 4.1? Yes, we are. We're getting a Banu Mission Giver. It's on Steam. No, Squadron 2 is going to be on Steam, yes. If not June, then October. One of the two. The same source said that they're looking at not doing CitizenCon this year because they want to do a bunch of different circuits for like the video games, like places like
Vehicle, please visit us again.
Gamescom, so they can promote Squadron. So. A hologram of a Banu. I'll give it 90% odds that the VoIP call for with the GU breaks, though I've never seen it work for the PU for long. I mean, in CIG's defense, I guess I could say 4.1, it worked pretty well. In terms of full conversations, I don't know if we'll have a full conversations with it right away. Do a major in-game tie with Squadron Warrior 2 and Invictus for the hype. That's what I'm thinking, but like having a full booth, like maybe even an interactable booth at Gamescom is going to be very pricey. And given their audience is mostly Americans, having Gamescom would be a big boom to like their European influence. European audience. Okay.
Engines offline.
I should have forgot about this. Not gonna lie, if they're on a roll, they might best not off. Be best off not even doing a free flight Invictus. We'll see.
You can take away my space suit.
I think they'll try a free flight Invictus if things are doing well.
But you can never.
Remember, that's not until May.
Ever.
So.
Take away my space game.
They need to fix Henry Cavill's character. He's definitely too smooth.
Knowledge Lambo 1 just resubscribed for 12 months. So is there a plan for bug fixing? Or are they just going to stick with this narrative until further notice?
There's still thank you for that by the way. 12 months for over a year. Thank you so much. You're very important, Pupper. Very impressive, Mr. Very pedestrian. You rock. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. No, they definitely doing bug fixing. They did a bunch of bug fixing this last patch too, like this patch. With like elevators and stuff like that. I am bad. No, transit still works pretty well. For instance, I haven't really had a problem with elevators this patch. Is transit perfect? No, there's still definitely problems, but most of that problem has to do with desync, and that's one of the issues with 4.1. There's just a ton of desync. But that really doesn't have to do with the actual system, that has to do with the back end. Now, the full transit replacement isn't in yet. This is just the sort of hot fixed version of it. Yeah, it's the ship and freight elevators that are the biggest issues right now.
Launch complete.
And not shrink down. 4.2 got patched in? No, 4.1. So 4.1 went out on Friday, and they took it down over the weekend because it was too unstable. So they took it down and then patched it again today to kind of fix some of those issues.
Landing gear up. Shield system offline.
Yeah, we were doing supply or die, and the freight elevators in supply or die were consistently working. But not every planetary freight elevator necessarily works as much as it has to, but yeah. I'm curious with Starware, will the new system that gives set bonuses also apply to existing gear sets? If not, doesn't that discourage anyone from buying current gear sets from the pledge store? I believe there is going to be 2 sets of bonuses. One is going to be for the specific gear, and the other is for specific type. So you might have some gear bonus for having all dust-up armor, for instance. But if you have... Dust-up is, I think, light armor. But if you have all light armor pieces, you'll still get a light armor bonus for wearing those, all that light armor. So I think it's 2 different ones. And yeah, I assume they're going to add some bonuses to the sets that already exist. That's an easy add, so. I found more planetary elevators working since 4.0.2. It's a shame that CIG made prices so much worse. Yeah. Are the rumors of stealth armor true? Yes, it's been mentioned in the monthly report. They're doing stealth armor. Now, why would you have stealth armor? Because they're doing fucking FPS scanning. And it's not going to be invisible armor. I'm assuming it's going to be some sort of hard to see or impossible to see on FPS scans. You mean CIG leaked this? Yes, 100%. We're gonna call that a leak, because the only reason why people pay attention is if you say something's a leak. So. Hydra heat sig, yeah. Like the last monthly report it clearly was a response to people saying, "Hey, why wasn't there any mentions of all of these things they've mentioned in the past in the last monthly report?" So CIG may have heard the discussions around it and decided, let's pull those people in to see it to make sure we have an update. So yeah, for instance, base building is done, at least in its initial implementation. The thing that it needs is UI work now. But all of the stuff that we saw at CitizenCon is working with developer UI. So just because it's done doesn't mean it's ready for release. It doesn't mean it's got its UI. It doesn't mean it's balanced yet, all that kind of thing. But base building is in a stage of completion. Same with like scanning is slowly getting worked its way through there, and engineering slowly getting its way worked through there. So yeah. See, I don't mind what CIG's doing with the FPS scan. I know a lot of people are just like, I want it to be basic and low tech, but it's like, if everybody has wall hacks, then nobody has wall hacks. Because the other thing about the wall hacks is if you ping, everyone can see you. So it's a two-way rather than a single way. You want to do FPS scan? Cool. Now everyone knows where you are because you just set off a huge amount of electromagnetic radiation, which your suit can track. So. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying I accept my hill. Yeah. And there also is jamming. You can have jamming. I think one of the things the stealth armor may be, the stealth armor may have active jamming, because that was one of my suggestions, and it seems like CIG may actually be taking the suggestion, which is we are in the fucking future, and we already have all these systems based around. We don't need fucking sniper glint. What we need is a way of tracking where the fuck sniper is, and having somebody with the equipment that can extend the range of a ping to get further out means you have a dedicated person who can scan. It is a counterplay to snipers, but snipers could probably also pinpoint the people with those gigantic fucking backpacks with scanning equipment, and will be able to take them out first if they're smart. So it's a sort of, you know, point counterpoint in terms of gameplay that CIG's been building on top of that. And they already have the system of FPS scanning. It's a simple thing to just extend the range from like wherever the small range is to a much wider range with dedicated equipment. Also, there's a sniper on that ridge. Send in the A1 or, you know, artillery. I'm still hopeful for artillery. Having a JTAC would be a good addition, but it's pretty niche for only 1 to 2 counters. Lore will have an artillery division. Personally, I don't like the wall hacks. I only hope that they're extremely restricted in PvP. I hope the answer isn't simply wear stealth gear because it'll likely be light armor. Well, you could also have jammers. Like if there's some sort of, because we know electronic warfare, e-warfare is going to be a thing that CIG wants. That would be a simple kind of solution for it is deployable gear that's jammers that prevents your FPS scanning from working. But it would be 2 ways, where you can't FPS scan and they can't FPS scan, so everyone's blind. Now, this is 4.0.2. I'm doing my 0 to hero run, so it's a little different. I don't think I have enough fuel to jump out of here, so. Yeah, the Cyclone RN is another good example. Oh, baby. Laser designation is, I mean, that is my dream in terms of Star Citizen future combat is tube artillery and deployable tube artillery and laser sights. Using your laser sights as like location pointing. I also hope that, you know, you can also have other artillery in the future, because once you've built out the HUD and the functionality for tube artillery, you have the same functionality. You just apply it to a ground-based artillery platform. I don't think we'll ever have like towable artillery, but we'll probably have like what are they called? Self-propelled guns, thank you. Yeah, SPGs. Laser designation is a good counter gameplay where you can see the laser of the NVGs. Yeah, and that would, again, give another reason for NVGs. You mean Ivan's fiery grads? Yeah, I'd love to see something as simple as, yeah, a mortar built on an Atlas platform. Or a mortar or Ursa. Rip the back off an Ursa and just turn it into a mortar platform. Mortar cyclone. Like the M3 Priest, yeah. Storm MLRS. I think the Storm is, because you can actually target targets with the Storm that are on the ground with your rockets. So it's definitely possible to turn into artillery. It's just not designed to do that. I'm an idiot. I need to actually refill before I come down here. Neat knowledge. Because, like, CIG has to do two things. One, it makes a lot of sense to integrate scanning in FPS with everything else, with all the scanning that's going on, because consistency within the universe, but also with player base. You want the players to be able to use similar technologies in both FPS and in space and in ground, because it makes it easier for you to learn it. And as much as people are like, well, I would like this hardcore realism for Star Citizen, not even KCD do. KCD or KCD2 do that. And they're considered pretty niche hardcore games. They do a lot of hand-holding, a lot of, like, gesturing towards realism without it being super realistic. Yeah, and that's the other thing, is that you can also change the scanner as long as CIG allows CIG to dial it by having different types of scanners: military, exploration, industrial. So they can pick up different targets. Like, you wouldn't use an industrial scanner for defense against, you know, stealth enemies or nearby enemies. Yeah, no, I don't think CIG's physics will limit artillery. It's just a matter of functionality and everything else like that. Of, like, getting, like, the right HUD and being able to target, like, mass area rather than being just like a... Rather than it being a, like, you have to, like, lock onto a target specifically. Yeah, medical helmets picking up unshielded lifetimes and approximate health statuses would be neat. They just need the basic functionality in first.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
Give me a 777 and I'll pledge to you, Mr. Roberts. I don't think they'll give you a 777 Toad. I think if they give you a 777, it'll be like the Drake... Fuck you. The Drake Bombard or something like that.
Vehicle has been. Please visit us again. Goodbye.
Yeah, also having laser designation to target torpedoes for, like, guiding torpedoes or guiding missiles in. Fucking baller. Well, I don't think CIG can do the I don't think CIG would want to do towed artillery because it would be a bespoke solution to the problem, where, like, they'd have to create physics and wheels and make it function as, like, a deployable asset. When instead of them doing, like, towed artillery, it would just be like they build a vehicle that is that artillery piece, rather than, you know, that's a bespoke job is to do that. Because then they could make multiple sizes of ship or vehicle that does that. It's a gameplay solution to, like, a gameplay problem. Yeah, towed artillery. TOWD. All right. Let's get the contracts.
Your systems are online.
Yeah, that's a good point. Don't buy ships because of their performance. Buy them on vibes and roll, or don't buy them at all. Not buying ships is a completely legitimate option. Just getting a starter pack is all you need. That's kind of the point of this playthrough. I started this game this playthrough around 4.0 live preview, I think, and it's going into 4.2. But I've already made like 3-4 million credits with this account alone, and it just has an Aurora. That's all it is. It's an Aurora starting pack, and that's it. Basic amount of money, and I've already purchased a ship. I have an M2 to Ironclad Assault CCU. I'm thinking about melting my F8C and upgrading my Guardian to an M2 and then the Ironclad. I'll buy back the F8C if I ever need to do it again. Yeah. Remember dunking on Sabres and Supers and a Mustang Beta and AC back in the early 3X's days? Oh no, I used to absolutely destroy with the Delta. The Mustang Delta was my ship. It was just fucking amazing. I wonder if they have ships on the back burner a la orbital bombardment awaiting base building. I imagine that orbital bombardment is something that CIG would like to do, but I doubt that it's fully in their vision until like after 1.0, simply because like I'm sure there's some weird interactions that they'd have to go through, because you could, I think, technically today you can orbitally bombard a location. Like if you have an Idris railgun, you fire that Idris railgun, it will hit the ground if it's within orbit. But I think it may despawn after a certain number, like 23 kilometers in terms of its fire. But like you can bombard moons with the with it. And there are mentions in the lore that like the Javelin has modules which are designed specifically for orbital bombardment, if we can say that. Yeah. You can. The issue is having a counter to that. Well, that's what base shields are.
Landing gear down.
I'd imagine so releasing base building without the Pioneer would be a missed opportunity. I think they're going to release base building without the Pioneer, is what they said, but it's not going to be it's not going to be far behind. Yeah, like we're not going to get the full base building experience in the first release. It's going to be in tiers, and like the big stations and stuff like that are going to be a later tier. You open all doors. I'm going to have to exit first. Yeah, and they even said that at CitizenCon that like it's planned on coming out, but it's probably not going to be, it's not going to be the first initial release of base building. They said that was like a statement of theirs, so. But it's clearly they're working on it, so it's not something that's like going to be that far behind, I don't think. Maybe a patch or two. Oh, it's very far along. Like as of like I said, as of like last monthly report, it is they said it's done. It's at least initial version is done. It's just needs tweaking and of course new UI, because right now it's using developer UI, which is not good. Yeah, you didn't know that? The Cuddies had a working tractor beam for about a patch or two. And how much do I have left? So I have 5 corundum, 6 corundum, and 6 copper. Oh no, 2, 4, yeah, 6 copper. So we're looking at, yeah, 1.5 mil almost. All right, let me land this in a proper way, take it down, bring it back up, and then we'll head to Pyro. Did they even say stations are 1.0? Yeah, stations are at 1.0. The thing that's important to note is that I don't see CIG rushing 1.0. I see CIG getting the game as close to 1.0 as possible, and then doing at least 2 to 3 patch cycles of testing before they go from 4.0 to 1.0. From the 4.0 branch to 1.0 branch. Likely with no new additions other than maybe content. Crafting is done too. I believe crafting is completely done with developer UI as well. I could also be mixing those two up. I'll pull it up right now. Regarding crafting, the core feature is now playable using the developer UI, including use of blueprints, variable material quality, crafting timers, and resource-dependent item stats. A basic craft queue, multiple items at once, was added too. Progress was made on base building with the devs identifying and fixing various bugs, particularly server flow. Validations for buildings placed on land claims began, and localization strings were implemented. So I got them mixed up. So yeah, crafting is done. Crafting is playable with dev UI, but but base building isn't quite done yet. I mean, they're close together, yes, but that's effectively what we're hearing from the monthly report.
Welcome to the ASOP Your Viet. Please visit us again. Bye.
I think craft is farther along than the majority of people realize, at least the basic version of it. Yeah. No, it's, according to this, it's done. People got to remember that the idea that Chris Roberts like spun, 12 years ago of like everything being hands-on and tactical, that shit flew out the window. Like what crafting is effectively you have this room or this box. You have some sort of like screen where you access the screen. You feed it certain resources from your resource location. So maybe like from your stored hangar or whatever. And you have an output. You hit the button, and then there's some flashing lights inside the box. And then the box opens, and then there's your item. It's an item spawner. You're not going to see the damn thing be 3D printed. And they probably could do that, in fact, but it's probably not going to be the case. They have items spawning in the game. Like, that functionality is already there. What CIG is trying to do is create an item spawner that players can use that requires certain stuff. That's it. Thank you, Silky. And I think some of the fabricators are going to be specific use. So like, I think there will be something called a food fabricator. And I think it's already in a lot of ships. Like in your Freelancer, I think and in like the Polaris has them. Like they look like the microwaves. You just plop them in and you're done. To be fair, the initial crafting was great, a great idea, but it didn't work out. Maybe after 1.0 when they get time to do more details, I don't think they will. Just like how embrace Beam Citizen is the future. I don't think CIG will put a lot of effort and time into doing things that don't involve beams, because beams are a quick solution to the problems they have. By the time CIG gets around to doing things that are more physicalized, players will have already gotten used to beams, and the physicalization will be sort of an option rather than a necessary, or maybe some very high-level gameplay. So most people will still be using beams. While people used to complain about Beam Citizen all the time, it's pretty much died off in my experience. All right. Going on full spy, kids. Put the packet in the microwave and get a full burger with fries in return. You damn right we're gonna get that. I mean, it's the future of humanity. That's one of the reasons why, like, people I don't like scanning, FPS scanning. It's like, they have scanning like that in ships, so why wouldn't they have it in manned portable? We almost have that technology now of being able to use some sort of, like, motion tracker. We do have motion trackers, but, like, Such a beautiful sight that is right there.
Landing gear up.
If we got a medium refueling ship, who do you think it would come from? Argo. Misk or Argo. Well, Misk, Argo, or RSI, and I think Argo is probably the better choice. If we might even get a small refueler. If we get a small refueler, I expect it to be either Drake or RSI. There we go. Me and Mega David. Fucking love this song. I will say, one of the few things that I think CIG absolutely nailed was jump points. Being able to fly through them adds so much more to the game. Who's it a Corsair? Perfect. I'm gonna do something stupid. Go to rods first, because it's a bit of a haul. We got plenty of seed cash, so. I know the question wasn't for me, but I like the idea. I think it would have a different type, a different game. Star Citizen roguelike. Question, with all the different server talk, could you see a hardcore server where they start out with nothing to death and death is death equals make a new character? Yeah, 100%. I can see a hardcore version of Star Citizen. I'd rather it not be a server type. I'd rather it be a choice. Like, you can choose to erase all imprints. So every time you die, you've just done that. How to make a great taco truck? Yeah. Like, consistently, CIG has been doing an amazing job with Pyro. I think since the very beginning of Pyro's release, the audio, the visual, the overall experience of Pyro has been nailed. However, it is still very basic, and there are a lot of problems with the game, but nothing that isn't insurmountable. Things that I expect CIG to take months to fix, but to fix. Goddamn CIG making even Aberdeen pretty in 4.1. Yeah. Red Stanton HD. There's definitely stuff that needs to be added to make it a little bit more unique, like flares. But it's also clear that CIG, according to this last monthly report, CIG is just head bashing their way through all of the other features they wanted to add this year. Engineering, scanning, and crafting, and base building. Those are the four that were really... Two of them were really close, engineering and scanning. The other two were they showed off as big flashy stuff, but I'm surprised they didn't do anything on scanning at CitizenCon, because it's clear they have a fucking idea about that thing. And I really wouldn't be surprised if CIG's last patch of the year was them just dropping all of those at once. I really want ENLIL spiral for flares. Give players the tools to strategize what they're doing around stellar weather. What is ENLIL? That's something that I'm not... Enlil? I don't know what that is that reference to. Please educate me. At least every 1.0 system, similar system later would be fine. Must start calling the Ibrahim food device the Soul Stone. Pretty much is. Now they're going to drop 1.0 for Christmas. I do think that next year is the year for bounty hunting. Exploration and bounty hunting is 2026. It's a NASA forecast for solar weather. It shows off puffs of solar wind drifting off to the sun. Oh, okay. So some sort of like detection access. Some like space weather. A space weather prediction device. Perhaps in partnership with a certain current weather company that has ties with Star Citizen already. Some cross promotion between the two. Are not gonna, yeah, it'll... Squadron 42 is either February or March of next year, or the fall winter of next year. Link should have gotten bumped. Ooh, that's neat. While I'd like for Squadron 42 to be a summer 2026, I have heard enough that CIG is planning on releasing it in February. Now I heard the term February 2 years ago. People were telling me February was their goal, and I thought, okay, February 2025, and then obviously the announcement didn't come through, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess that's not true. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if that's CIG shooting for as a February release, because a February release is a really good release if you're looking for usually a lower level, lower number of releases for your sort of intended audience. Like, a good example, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 released in February. Released this last February. Monster Hunter Wilds released at the end of February. Like, these are not games that you typically see as a major release candidate for the fall. And I think even Helldivers 2 released in February. So it's a good sort of smaller AAA to AA release window. Yeah, they did start marketing, and was it February? Yeah, it was February of this year. So it'll be... I thought it was January. If it's February, then we're not going to get another newsletter until April. But if it's January, then we'll get it this month. Yeah, Checkmate is one of the drop-off locations. Obit is also, so you just be careful with that, Mike. Marketing where? So they've been doing, is marketing in the room with us right now? It's their newsletter. Their newsletter is the start of their marketing. Because it was a lot different from what CIG has done in the past in terms of talking about Squadron. That was a lot more professional. Squadron 42 ads or Star Citizen ads? I think we'll start seeing ads 9 to 12 months away. So I wouldn't be surprised if they, again, I have a feeling they're going to do some sort of teaser for Invictus this year. And then they're going to do a date drop at Gamescom. Either at Gamescom or at the PC Showcase which used to be E3, which doesn't exist anymore. Star Citizen ad. Yeah, Star Citizen's had ads for a while. I'm talking specifically about Squadron 42 ads because Squadron 42, its ads are going to be everywhere. It's going to be a lot more ubiquitous. You're going to start seeing Squadron 42 ads a lot more aggressively than you've even seen Star Citizen ads. I think we'll see a Game Awards preview for sure. World premiere, yeah. Do they do gameplay like vertical slices at Game Awards? I don't remember because it's been a while since I've watched them. They can. I mean, I don't know if they've done it in the past. That's the issue. Actually, what's your favorite capital scale ship so far in lore, and what critical role would you most looking forward to? Well, in terms of lore ships, it's the Jupiter. The Jupiter is absolutely my favorite ship because it is a stupid idea for a ship, and I love it. It is a shipping ship. It is a capital scale, shuttle hauler. It was a Crusader Jupiter. It was roughly big enough to be able to carry multiple of their shuttle technology to market, which is like around the Spirit size, a little bit smaller than the Spirit, but around the same size of the Spirit, because the Spirit is based off of the hull of those shuttles that the Jupiter was carrying. So if you can imagine a ship which is able to carry, half of a, multiple numbers of half of a Spirit, so maybe around Intrepid size. So you're looking at like possibly 10 to a dozen of those. A ship that's specifically designed to do that. My guess it would be something like a Hercules, but like on steroids, like just fucking massive ship. No way. Absolutely no way the CIG is going to produce that because that thing is disgustingly big, and I don't think CIG would want to put that sort of thing. They've even said, like, we're not doing the Jupiter. So I'm sure that John Crew doesn't even know that the Jupiter is a thing. Yeah, they already having trouble with like the Javelin. I can imagine everything else is going to be kind of complicated.
Landing gear up.
If I'm gonna have to stop off and. Cruisers and battleships they showed off in the cinematic were pretty cool. Yeah, those were cruisers. I think the battleships were just a mislabeling of the ships. There is no battleships that we know of. Unless they have a battle cruiser version that they call a battleship. Because in the cinematic they showed off, the thing they labeled as a battleship was a fucking javelin. It's like javelins aren't battleships, they're destroyers. So... Should I play KC2 or Star Citizen tonight? KCD2. Absolutely. Star Citizen's fine, and it seems like it's in pretty good position right now, but if you haven't beaten KCD2, beat it. I still haven't played KCD2, even though I own it, because I'm still going to beat KCD1 before I play KCD2. Not because you have to, but because the way that the story is told in KCD2, it assumes that you sort of know the universe and the characters you've played through. It's kind of like Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2 sort of situation. Though Warhorse does a worse job of it, though it's not too bad. They had frigate, destroyer, cruiser, escort carrier, battleship, and fleet carrier. Yes, and the one that they labeled as a battleship was literally a javelin. You could see it in the hollow globe, and it was a name of, I think it was the Scimitar that they named it. Oh, KCD2 has got good storytelling, but I think it's a little jarring for people who haven't played the first game, at least initially. It gets better over time. Like, the Warhorse devs did a really good job with KCD2. And that was clearly not a battleship. That was because it was the same class as as some of the other ships that were labeled as cruisers. So it's that going off of that hollow globe stuff is probably not a good indication of what actually is or isn't those things. We know that one of those was Integrity, and Integrity is a battle cruiser or is a cruiser. And we know that one of the labels of the ships in the Hollow Globe was the Integrity, and it was labeled as a cruiser, so we know both in lore and in game. So that is a cruiser class, and that same class was the one that got blown up. Not Argus, because Argus was that's sort of a weird thing, because the Argus is, there's definitely needs to go through and kind of clean up that whole scene a little bit, because it gets a little more, it's clearly that's a work in progress. Moving to that second area was a little jarring. It took me out of the game a little. Yeah, because they have a hard cut with the maps. Like, you have to go from one map to another, and it's like not smooth. However, the Argus is also labeled as a carrier, which they actually mentioned earlier. I think the Argus is supposed to be a carrier, and what we see that actually gets cut in half is not the Argus, it's something different. It needs some cleanup. How far do you think ballistic ammo is for ship guns? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I haven't seen CIG talk about it, so probably far away. I gotta say, CIG really just loves this fucking music, and I love this for quantum travel. This only happens in Pyro. You don't hear this music in Stanton. It feels like a waste in Pyro almost, because this is like very bombastic, like exploration music. Imagine much more darker, much more clandestine. Maybe something like Under the Cover of Night by in Halo, the original Halo. You know, that kind of stuff. Personally, not a huge fan of the music. You can turn the music off, but I actually like the music a lot, actually. Gunner's Deal, Battlefield. There we go. I think the music adds a lot more more to the game, but yeah. Halo 3 ODST difference for darkness, yeah. Luckily, I'm neutral to the headhunters, even though I've been actively helping them. God, that's beautiful. Look at that, chat. Uh, 46 SCU, I think. The answer is not much.
can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers.
No pews.
But you can never,
Yeah, more than you know, man.
ever take away my space game.
Nope. Didn't really have any problems with jump point.
Valisat just resubscribed for 11 months.
Thank you.
Wins all around.
Thank you so much for that 11 months of support. You're very important, Papa. Very impressive, Mr. Very pedestrian. This is your fault. You're from Juggernaut. Trust and cheers and chat, y'all. Trust and cheers. All right. I haven't had problems with campers in forever with Star Citizen. Like, yeah, there's still problems with it. Supply or Die, you haven't started Supply or Die yet as Monster Hunter Wilds has been consuming my free time. Have you encountered much PvP? Yeah, a little bit. It's mostly about, like, are you, like, how do you approach the game? If you approach the game like an idiot, you're gonna get swatted pretty hard. But if you're more tactical about what how you do things, if you have backup, that kind of things, you do dogleg runs around stuff, you do pretty well. Just don't go with a big group because you're not going to make any money with a big group. Interesting to see you all out and about. All right, so Gasping Weevil Eggs. We're going to go with 4 SCU. We're going to go with 2. Only got 14 SCU. We're going to buy 3 units of 4 and a unit of 2. Now it's 2 units of 4. And then we're going to get 1 unit of 4. And then 2 units of that. So there we go. That should be enough for my run. Sorry, couldn't see you. So it's about everything I earned in Supply or Die in the last Supply or Die run. Let's see if I can make some profit off of it. Almost 1.5 mil so far, so this should put me over 1.5 mil a little bit more. You got your tickets to Quantum Vegas 2955? Yeah! I forgot to mention, Quantum Vegas, the website's up. It's $75 for a ticket right now. It will be going up in price the further we go. So this first month that we have up prices, it will be $75. Don't forget to unload between each refinery job. I lost a full M2 load of copper and corundum. Woo-hoo-hoo, that sucks. We're going to go with ETAM. Move that first. See if I can hit it from here. I can hit it from here. Anything interesting happened? Everything happened this last week. That's not even trolling you. So much happened last week. So we got an tier 0 implementation of we're going to get tier 0 implementation. It's already in 4.1. By the way, 4.1's in PTU now. But we're going to be getting tier 0 implementation of the item recovery system, which is controversial. We also got the monthly report, which had lots of updates for things like what is it? Monthly report, which had a lot of stuff on engineering, base building, crafting, scanning. It's a huge update for a bunch of what they're working on behind the scenes. And then we also have like with 4.1, we have a lot of new changes, including the first Banu mission giver. I'm not even joking. First alien in the Star Citizen universe. That's interactable-ish. Is coming with 4.1, plus a brand new location for like a sort of repeatable mission chain thing, not like a story-driven stuff, but like there's a shit ton of things, dude. 4.1 had a bunch of stuff as well in terms of like new additions for 4.1 that I haven't even been over. Like new mission, new reputations, new organizations. You gain reputation with new missions around them. Well, the ISC, the SCL last week was pretty good too. That was the where they talked about brand new ships. Like they're working on a bunch of new new ships for Star Citizen. So we've got RSI heavy fighter based off of the Mantis, not like Mantis chassis, but it's like going to be similar to them. Is that a bomb? You missed entirely. Fuck you. Should have enough to get the rods, fuel, and supplies. I think it was just one A1 because they fired missiles at me and I panic chaffed and they missed. Whew. Luckily, the UI is kind of fucky with the A1 and the A2 right now, so dropping bombs is very difficult. What's Dela 7? What was the damn it about? Ads, right? As you talk about new things. Are you out of ads now? Hello, Paul. I will be rapidly approaching a location closer to you than I usually am in 92 hours. Oh, interesting. Going to Dallas? Okay. So 4.1 has a bunch of new things. The main things that were released are 3 new mission, like faction givers, one of which is Wakello's Emporium, which is a Banu, which has a full animated, like, Banu, like, comms that you can contact with them. It's all through comms. It's not through in person. Plus a brand new locations in the verse, 3 different stations in the verse where you can go to in Stanton. There are new Hathor bases, which are controlled by some security company. I can't remember the name of them. But they give you missions to deal with specific issues around these Hathor locations. And if you align the dishes properly, you can get them to... Is Cornfield not going down? It's weird. You can like hit an orbital laser down to the ground, and we don't know exactly what it does yet, but it'll be doing things. Just had a thought, why the hell was there a size 3 bomb in the Crusader showroom for a while? I don't know. I thought it was the Moab. If I remember correctly, CIG, it was a purchasable item, but I don't think you could carry the size 3 on anything. Because you have size 1s and, I guess, size 5s. I remember them making size 3s as a thing, so. Oh, so it was the A2 bomb. The size 3, the Moab. Huh. CIG probably built it for Squadron. Gladius can carry size 3. It can carry size 2 3 missiles, not bombs. Yeah, layover in Dallas, going to Colorado. Well, enjoy Dallas. There's no bomb racks you can buy. Are you kidding me? If there were bomb racks that you could buy, Dell would have already bought a Gladiator and installed them on the wings of the Gladiator. I would have been beaten Dell to the punch. Fuck, I'd actually buy a Gladiator in game. Sounds like a challenge. All ships need to be able to carry bombs, in my opinion. I think it's just such a good use for most ships should be have that option. So, chat, question. This is one thing I don't know. Should I unload the ship before sending it down, after getting it refueled and sending it down? Or before sending it down? Just so I don't lose the cargo. Yes? Okay. Because I'm only going to be refueling here. Sure it's in there properly. Yeah. I'm gonna angle it a little bit better. There we go. Oh, it always happens. It always happens for me. I'll try it, though. Yeah, see? Didn't update. Even though if you go to my landing, completely done. It has happened every single time. Yeah, the Argo repair, refuel, and refinery are ships that are just easy Argo ships. So I'm not going to put these down yet. I'm just going to put them on the grid over here so that they actually latch onto something. There's a new MISC ore pod on 4.1. Content, content, content. I'm going to check something out real quickly before I pull it back up. All right, I'm going to take it to Grim. How about Etam? Brios is the best. Nah, Brios is better. Samson Sons maybe, Brios or Orinth. They're all the same. Yeah. All right.
You can take away my spaceship.
Spaceship.
You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never, ever take away my space game.
DFX2KX just resubscribed for 98 months. I live.
Thank you so much for that 98 months. DFX, good to see you again. You're a very important pub. We're very impressed, Mr. Fading Pedestrian. You rock. Shots and juice in chat. Y'all shots and cheers. How you doing, DFX? All right, so this is going to be my ballsy trip through the jump gate. What am I doing? There we go. I'd like to point out that until we get the Star Citizen equivalent of a pirate cutty blasting hard bass while pirating people, piracy gameplay would not be done. Oh, the old the in-lore thing that they do, which is like the whole like where like they play like heavy metal music and other like disruptive music specifically to disorient their targets through the comms. How am I doing? Ah, that is all. That is all. I know that feeling. Actually, I'm gonna put you down first. Etam's going last. So it goes in first. Put this down for now, actually. The one for the Cuddy was so sweet. Can't wait until we get to utilize ship kits, like an elite, to change the look of our ship parts. That'd be interesting. RBG flashing Cuddy. Should pop in a bit before it shows it. Nice to see it in 60 FPS. I don't know if it's 60 FPS right now. Oh, it is in 70. It's in 75 FPS. So pretty good. And then the FPS, server FPS is actually pretty good too. Server FPS is 30. It's hard lock 30. So. If I'm doing well with the headhunters, how will I kill? How do I kill the rep and get good with CFP? So there's an option in contracts. It might be in priority. There's an option in here that you can get saying it's not too late from the CFP, where you can do a mission for them and it'll wipe all your rep with the headhunters and make you neutral with the CFP.
Engines online. Launch complete.
All right, chat. I'm risking for the biscuit. This is the stuff that legends are made of. Well, I mean, on my rig, not so much. It's much faster. It's wild. 5800X, 7800 XT. Nice. Yeah, you'd be better than me, and I have a i7 11700K and a 2070 Super. I am going to be getting a new rig here shortly, hopefully. And if I do, it'll definitely be either it's 5070 Ti or 9070 XT. I think likely 9070 XT, considering it's going to have more availability, hopefully, than the 5070 Ti, but who knows? Hey, the 2070 Super, aka another 1080 Ti. Yeah, basically. But I'm definitely getting a 7800 X3D. I talked with, I sat down and chatted with 10#42 to get kind of their idea about what a good rig, a good medium rig for Star Citizen would be. And he basically said the rig I had was going to do well for Star Citizen in general. Let me pull it up. It's a, it didn't save. That's fine. Going through and fixing it real quick.
Quantum fuel is at 75%.
I'm fixing it up real quick so I get the full. Okay. So, Ryzen 7 7800 X3D. A Cooler Master 360 liquid cool. Gigabyte B650 Gaming X AX V2. 224 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM 6000. Because that actually gives you a 20, so that gives me 48, which is odd compared to everybody else's, but it's not 64, but it's more than 32. And I think that'll do me well. A one 4 terabyte NVMe M2 drive. The Sapphire Pulse Radeon X9070X XT. The NXT H7 Flow and a Corsair 850X RM850X, which is all fully modular. I'm a little scared that dude just immediately was going for me. Hang out here for now. Why not 248 gigabytes? Because like you actually have a decent cheap, like having 48 gigs gives you the kind of advantages of having more than 32, but the price range under the 64 gig. It's like there's not a lot you need for gaming specifically that's going to make you go 64, unless if that's the case, we're going to be in a lot more problems. We'll have a lot more trouble than we currently are just in general. Okay, where's the actual jump point? Over here? There it is. Think of all the Chrome tabs you can leave open. Well, if I have to run stuff in the background, like OBS or other things that I might need to do to be able to do content creation, that's the main reason why I'm getting more than, 32. Here we go. I am focusing really hard right now. I'm out. I'm still annoyed that the best graphics card NVIDIA ever built remains the 390 Ti. Yeah, I'm not going to Brios. Are you fucking kidding me? Brios is the same as all of the other ones. Yeah, the only reason why I'm getting a 9070 Ti or Ti XT over the 5070 Ti is because of availability. Its performance should be about the same. They're fairly common. I mean, I think the 5070 Ti would probably be a little bit better, but if I can get the 9070 Ti or XT, I keep doing that, at around MSRP, it would be. I'm never going to get the 5070 Ti at MSRP. There's never. It's $750. So it's $150 extra. And I'm going to be spending a minimum $800 to probably more like $900 for it. And if I can get similar price, similar performance, or almost the same performance for like, what, $100 cheaper? Like, not even $100, like $700? It's still $50 cheaper than the MSRP of the 5070 Ti, and will probably be several $100s cheaper. And trust me, I've been an NVIDIA person since I started building rigs. But it's like there comes a time when there needs to be good competition, and if they can actually keep stuff in stock, that's the problem. let's jump to it's Wall I gotta go to, but
You can take away my spaceship.
spaceship.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews.
But you can never,
Never.
ever
Ever.
take away my space game.
Low_tep just resubscribed for 40 months.
Thank you so much, Lotep, for that 40 months of support. You're a very important pub, very impressive pisser of any pedestrian. This is your fault. There's no drinking night. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. You might enjoy this. I just saw someone tell another one that a Banu merchantman is in 4.1. Technically true. It's just not a ship. Oh, God. Voila. Okay. So my map is entirely broken here, but I should be able to find Walla. It's Walla right there, right? Yeah, it's Walla. But yeah, I don't actually game at 4K. I game at 1440. So if I can get 1440 at decent, decent performance, and considering how well I do with the 2090, I think that they would the 14 the thing I was talking about would probably absolutely shatter Star Citizen in terms of best or as good looking as possible. Those wondering, the 3090 Ti was the last NVIDIA top-end card that had full control, that had control over its own power draw and can self-balance. No wonder the 4090 and 5090s melt in cables and explode. Yeah. Oh, fuck, I don't like this. I don't like when it's on the dark side. Fuck is that? Absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. I'll give him some time to fuck off, but holy shit, that was scary as shit. Unless that was one of you. So when do you think 4.1 will drop the PU? Last week of March or first week of April? For those you didn't see, some guy, good name, Tall Geese, was right behind me in what looked like a 315p. But the second I saw something that even was remotely fighter shaped, I was just like, nope, nope, fuck this. Deploy the Epion. Tall Geese, yeah, I think that was it. Chat's down, so I can't even tell. You know the name? Tolgeese is my favorite Gundam, even though it's not technically a Gundam. Yeah, I know, but it wasn't spelled Tolgeese. It was spelled Tulguese, just like Captain Zank said. I'll jump away if I have to. I think I have plenty of quantum fuel, so I'm good right now.
Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now
Tail geese.
shield system online.
They're loading stuff up. All right. I'm going to stay around. On the other side of this mountain over here. I'm going to keep them locked.
Docking initiated. Docking denied. Landing gear down. Landing complete.
New saying, beware an old man that pilots a Zaku. No, I know. I'm not going to do reshade. I'm not going to bother with it yet. This week in Star Citizen looks pretty boring. Let me pull it up while we're waiting for Tull Goose to finish his thing. Roadmap up. They're doing a roadmap update, which is not too bad. They're doing a roadmap update. They got Stella Fortuna, which means new ship, and then Inside Star Citizen. Performance capture with some of the work being done to support an ongoing narrative persistent universe. Y'all, no one's gonna like ISC this season. No one's gonna like ISC this season because it's just going to be narrative stuff. It's gonna be all capturing narrative and maybe some ships here and there. But they already have their own like new thing that's not ISC. That's just the ship spotlights. So. My IR is still fucking high. I don't want to turn the shields off, but it's probably as close as I can get. Wait, does that bottom one tell me the range? Because right now it says IR is 2.1K. Does that tell me that they can see me at 2.1K? Trying to read the IR and CS stuff. Because my IR says 17.4K, and then below it is 2.1K. And then the EM is 78K, but below it is 1.7K. Okay, so the yellow number is the detection number. What's the red number then? Is that just maximum? If I was to full power, that's what my full power would be? It's with a scan, okay. So I'm mostly stealth. I want to keep my my sensors on, my radar on, because if I turn my radar off, I can't see. And I want to keep my shields on because I don't want to be able to, like, if I get attacked. And I've got to keep the coolers on because if I turn the coolers off, my you see, it goes way up higher. I turn them on. I turn them off. So my coolers are keeping me pretty low. Typically what I do if they had engineering is I'd go completely silent and go off battery mode for this sort of thing while waiting for somebody to finish up their runs. So this is one of the rules of smuggling that I came up with a long time ago. Absolutely never encroach somebody else who is selling in the same terminal you're going to. It's not only just common courtesy, but you have no idea what they can do. It's always best to just stay the fuck away from people if they're doing things. And if there are multiple people around an area, and you feel sketchy, run. Just don't even bother. Just don't even come there. Okay. Thank you, Baston. Yeah, so I'm pretty stealthy. Let's see what happens if I turn off the shields. Probably not a good idea, but it's not actually turning anything on. Really? The engine's online? It's still the bottom one is still the my current rating. That increases my. EM is now 1.5K when I turned it on. What the fuck? 1.2K? Why is it going down when I turn stuff on? It's actually going up when I turn off signatures. What the fuck? Is this just inverted? Shit, didn't mean to do that. fuck is this guy doing? You think Raquello is one of the Academy of Science Guild contracts? Possibly. Well, I mean, my temp doesn't go up. It's just my EM that goes down when I have it on. It goes up when I have it on. Turn that off and see what happens. Nope, nothing. Yeah, but environmental factors now, it's like unless you're right on top of me. At this point, there are numbers we do not know about what may be active in the background. I think part of the problem is that they expected engineering to be online. Yeah. Is he getting back in? He's getting back in. Patience, chat. Patience. Could have logged off by accident. What is their ship guide document about those numbers? It's just all basic stuff. The component guide just tells you what each component does. I have a feeling that those guides were written specifically for A, engineering, in terms of like what engineering was going to do, and B, for new players that they were going to do for the free flight, which they never did. Well, this is extending the length of the stream. I was going to go park this after this, but. His ship turned on. He has an IR rating now. I just noticed that his IR rating here. That was completely at 0. That was completely at 0. Now it's got an IR rating. He definitely did something to his ship. Bro is taking his time, though. Maybe the elevator's busted? Oh, there he goes.
Launch complete. Shield system offline.
He's gone. All right, good.
Landing gear up. Shield system online.
That's why. It's like, why is this handling weird? Because I'm the moron.
Gear down.
I'm gonna hand deliver this. I don't trust anything right now. Go first. I have this on my TV screen so I can see help a pub upgrade gaming PC. I wasn't sure what that was until now. Oh yeah, it's just it's a Twitch thing. Okay, at least I got those down. Smoke's gotta eat. Can we stop at Whammers? Where's the closest Whammers? I don't think the stations have Whammers, do they? Probably Orphan, that's the closest thing that has Whammers. Hose. I think I made a little bit of money. Not a lot, though, unfortunately. You just don't make a shit ton of money doing these risky maneuvers. Exterior hatch for this. No, it's not. It's more if we can get it for free. You don't smuggle for the money, you do it for the thrill. I'd like to have better profits than we currently have. Just lower the number that you could have accessible.
Engines online. Launch complete. Shield system offline. Landing gear up. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off.
One should get me to a good spot.
Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off.
Over 100 SCUs is kind of whack. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to be something that CIG has to do in the future. Like, they're going to have to modify the volume. I think the easiest solution is that you can get those volumes, but you can only get those volumes after you have a certain amount of reputation with the factions that sell them. But until you do, you can only get smaller volumes at their stations. Basically, they allow you to purchase more because they trust you. at a discount. But yeah, you should be only trading like maximum 40 SCU, I think would be a good range. But you should have a significant profit with that 40 SCU, like 75%.
Landing gear down. Landing gear up.
Overall, not a bad trip though. Ended up, I'm definitely, you know, for almost 500 in the profit. Yeah, maybe like 100K. No, definitely more than 100K. Like yeah, almost probably like 300 to 400K. That was all came from the freaking from the supplier die run that I did, but. $1.5, not bad. Still got a ways to get to my my next one. I'll make a poll, maybe on YouTube.
Welcome to the ASOP your vehicle. Please visit us again.
To see what ship I should purchase next in the Zero to Hero, because I'm torn between the Cutlass, the Freelancer Max, or the Spirit. Though some people have suggested the whole A as well as be a good option. Remember, this is my trader / smuggler Zero to Hero. All right, celebratory. Cruise before we head out. I use 2 PCs for streaming, yes. I'm replacing one. I will eventually replace the other one, but the other one's going to be replaced a little bit later. My streaming PC works fine. The thing about streaming PCs is that you don't actually need anything kind of crazy with stream PCs. You basically just need a good CPU and maybe a halfway decent card for the actual in streaming stuff. But if you have a really beefy CPU, you don't actually need a card that much. But it's also my editing PC, so it's my stream PC, it's my editing PC, it's a bunch of other things. So I'm going to go for a more budget build compared to what I have in what I'm going for the gaming PC. Like cheap Intel graphics card, a good like office CPU for the AMD. Like there's a series of AMDs which are like the 50s, so like 7850, 5650. Those are their like sort of less gaming focused and more like general stuff. Hey, hi, Prince. I'm live. This is my Zero to Hero account. Taurus would be the one I do after. The idea being is I want to step up like you would step up in the verse, where you have. Yeah, I already have a 315p. So I've got the best starter hauler you can get. So the next would be a medium. And then from that medium, it would be a large. Other than, of course, obviously the Hull A is the best starter. So that's why I was wondering, like maybe a Hull A versus a Freelancer Max, a Cuddy, or a C1. Yeah, my my stream PC is a Ryzen 9 7950X. With a decent CPU cooler, which I'll probably change that out a little bit. And I'll probably change out the Gigabyte motherboard as well, because I don't need that craziness. GTX. Try to kind of go through it real quick. Yeah, so I've got an AMD Ryzen 9 7950X. I might drop that down a little bit, but you know, with 64 gigabytes of RAM, because that's more important for like encoding and for like doing work with editing softwares. But the graphics card I'm looking at is the Rock, the Sparkle Rock A770. It's 16 gigabytes of video card, but it is only $300. They all have good points. Hull A has good stealth build. I'd recommend Hull A if you're a smuggler. Okay, I might check out Hull A. Let's see how much that is. Anyway, kind of talking about all these things. Raft might be a better choice, but I don't know if it's a better choice now. I think the better choice would probably be the Taurus after that, just because it's just a little bit better. Do not get an A770. It's not for gaming, Mark. It's for streaming. I'm just going to use its encoder. I might even go cheaper if I can, but worst comes to worst, I might, well, I definitely need something better, because I'm going to use my current stream PC. My current gaming PC is going to end up going to my wife, to help her, to give her at least the parts will go to her at the very least, if not build her a brand new one.
Hey, a tip.
Luna, super chatted $6.92. Pub PC funds. This is close enough to a Twitch sub amount, lol.
Thank you so much for that $10 Canadian there, Luna. That'll help you out a lot. You're a very important pub, very impressive, very angry bastard. Any bit counts. But to give you all context, the most expensive things for my my game PC build is the CPU and the GPU. Those two alone are $1,100. My total cost for my entire build is $1,900, $1,950. So I already bought the case for $100. Everything else I can purchase for between $100 and $180. The only thing that's the exception to that rule is the 4 terabyte M2 drive, which is almost 300, but it's like 280. But I can piecemeal most of this. Like, I can swing 500 here, 600 there for a little bit of it, for a few of them, but like $500 for like a month out of my monthly Twitch stuff would cover probably a third of this build. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's the idea. It's not a gaming PC. It is purely I'm going to build it as a moderately good build specifically for streaming and content creation. Anyway, thank you for watching us. Thank you for hanging out, y'all. I'm going to send y'all to another person. It's been nice to have y'all come on here and sub and do all those sorts of things. And yeah, let's find someone for us to raid. I stream on Mondays now, just in general, so just keep that in mind. Ooh, they took off the recommendations. Very different now. Okay. So, Buster is streaming Skyrim. Buster's been doing a bunch of different... She just went through Oblivion, and now she's doing Skyrim. I don't know if it's for the first time or not.
Bullshit.
But she's actually not been doing a lot of the stuff. So go send some love to Buster. Thank you for watching, and like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.